Hey folks, and welcome back to night 3 from Under the Ring Skirt. And, I was a little bit on the fence about this one, but I'm going to say that's 2 out of 2 nights that I have been thoroughly sports entertained, gentlemen. How about you?
Yeah,
Uh,
I'd concur with that.
Absolutely.
Yep, I'm
Yeah,
I'm Mike
for
here
sure.
with Ray and Nick, as you folks probably know if you're listening to part 3 of our 3-part podcast on WrestleMania 2020 this year. Um, And yeah, we just got done collectively watching the second night of WrestleMania, and boy, do we have some stuff to talk about, huh?
Yeah, my head is swimming with it.
We had some great matches tonight, starting with Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, that
Hmm.
was for a top of the card match, that was actually probably one of the better one-on-ones of the night, I think. Rhea's a really kind of impressive talent from NXT. She really put on a very good showing for that younger generation of wrestlers that are up and coming. And Charlotte proved kind of once again why she is essentially the queen. Um, she just kept going and going and going, and she does not stop like the Energizer Bunny.
For the predictions, Mike had Flair, and me and Ray had Rhea Ripley, and Flair ended up coming out on top, which gave Mike another point in the competition we were
Did
having.
that put him in the lead at that point? Because I feel like he
Uh,
was leading for most of the night.
No, I think that tied me with
I
Nick because I know I started the night with the lowest amount of points.
Right,
Okay,
right,
okay.
right. Yeah, he had to work his way up. Um, but yeah, I think that was definitely one of the more technical matches we saw between one-on-one competitors tonight. And it was interesting to say the least, uh, because Charlotte Flair really has won pretty much every belt there is to win since she has come up, including before they got rid of it, the Divas Championship. Um, so back when she was in NXT, the NXT title, the NXT Women's title, didn't exist. So yeah, her winning it is a pretty big deal, I'd say.
And Ray, as a kind of non-wrestling fan, how did you feel about this match?
Um, Uninspired. I mean, it was fine. I don't know.
Well,
I
you heard it here
mean,
first, folks. Ray thinks that WWE is a big bag of shit.
yeah, yeah. I think that I think that about sums up my feelings towards the whole
And
thing.
And
transitioning nicely with Big Bag of Shit, immediately after that match, we got a wonderful promo for the Big Show. And we were just going to talk about the matches, but then that happened. So wow, the Big Show on a sitcom on Netflix, huh?
on Netflix, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they'll pick up
I
anything
know
at
that
this
that's
point.
the meme, but
Uh,
like, here we are.
Yeah, yeah.
So fellas, I'm thinking our
You
next
know,
move is to pitch our Netflix original series. Once
of doing this
Yes, yeah, and we can get
podcast.
like a real dramatic kind of Tiger King docu-series style, film going
oh, perfect.
about kind of like the dangers of
I
the
don't.
podcasting world.
I
Hmm.
haven't actually watched Tiger King yet, but I've heard a lot about it. If from what I've heard, it sounds like it's a guy and he's got a lot of husbands, and all of them are
That is
tigers.
only one of a cast of characters, all of whom are absolutely absurd, and you want to kill all of them by the end because
Yeah, I've heard
they are
it's
all
pretty bad.
miserable people.
Okay. Sounds like a good
Didn't
watch.
someone feed her husband to a tiger or
Yes, that
something?
would be Carol Baskin. But this is not from Under the Tiger King. This is from under the
No, thank
ring
God.
skirt, so
It's a different
then
kind of
maybe
white
that's
trash.
maybe that's a tease at our next
No.
project.
I don't think it is.
I mean, let's see how many views
It
we get
could
on this
be.
one.
But the next match we had tonight was Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley, and there wasn't much build up leading up to this match in the coming weeks towards WrestleMania. They kind of just, I feel, threw this one together a bit to fill out the card, to be quite honest.
Yeah, there
And,
wasn't anything particularly memorable
no.
about this.
No, not really, man, because it didn't feel like there were any stakes on the line, because there really wasn't. Like I said, it was just kind of a card filler, and I would love to see Aleister Black used better
Yeah,
than
so
this, to
so
be
I would
honest. Like, it was a solid match all around, but shit,
I would say
man.
probably the most memorable thing about the match was Aleister Black's performance. I mean, that guy.
Right, I wish there was any story or anything just leading
Yeah,
up to
he is a pretty serious talent in the ring, though. And man, that costume department, those shoulder pads were something else, huh?
Whew.
But yeah, Ziggler Otis. That was some
Yeah,
good
that
stuff.
Ziggler Otis match. That's the match we were all very hyped up for.
I stand by everything that I said. Dolph Ziggler is still one of the hardest working men in the business. Just because he happens to play an incredible dick-face heel, doesn't mean that this guy should have to lay down every single time he comes up to the stage.
And you know what? That's fair.
I can agree with
That's
that.
fair.
Yeah.
But tonight, he laid down and he took it. And Otis
Yeah.
gave it to
That
him.
he did.
I mean, but you kind of had to root for Otis. Even, I don't know, it kind of felt like they were all puppets in some larger game that we were still not made aware of, even by the end of it.
Whoever that
But you
spooky
kinda-
hacker
because-
man is.
Yeah,
Whoever the spooky
you kind of have to feel bad
truth
because he is
revealer
the victim.
hacker man. That truth
Or
revealer
woman.
hacker man. Or woman.
Woman
Hacker
with man hands.
Woman. That's the real culprit here. That's the real Oz behind the curtain.
You'll have to keep us informed with how that one shakes out.
I don't know. I'm tempted to do like a watching of Raw in the next few days with y'all, just because the Raw after Mania is always the one that's like buck fucking wild.
We could talk about that off mic. We can talk about the possibility of that happening. But yeah. So Otis took that one, and
Yeah, so now we're gonna come to the first one that I think we're gonna spend a little bit more time discussing tonight. This was the Ortin Edge match, and boy howdy, if the Ziggler Otis match was kind of like a feel good, chubby guy wins and beats up the bully and gets the girl at the end moment. What happened with Orton?
the Shrek of wrestling,
Right.
if you will.
What happened with Orton and Edge tonight was like a Hostel movie. It was incredibly uncomfortable viewing for the majority of that fight, and I loved every second of it.
I think uncomfortable is the takeaway word here. Yeah. I was uncomfortable for most of it. Sitting up and very engaged, can't look away. I compared it to a car crash that you can't stop looking at. Like, you don't like it, you don't like looking at it, you don't like what you're seeing, but you can't not watch. So, they got me there,
Yeah. We all predicted Edge would win. And eventually,
after 30 minutes
after 30
of
minutes
fighting around the world.
of watching a car crash that you can't look away from. He pulled it out on
Yeah.
top of a
But
truck. I believe they were.
They were.
In the end?
They were fighting on top of a truck, and Edge hit Randy Orton with a chair, and then after Randy Orton was on the ground, not moving, unconscious, quote unquote. Sorry for that terrible audio moment that just happened. He hit him with a chair again, directly on the neck. I mean, obviously that was what they were trying to make it look like, at least, and Edge won the match, but did he really? His as a character, Edge has now gone to an incredibly, incredibly dark place. It's going to be really interesting to see kind of what they do with him now. I mean, in the real world, what Edge did to Randy Orton would be called attempted murder. So it'll be interesting to see how WWE's creative moves forward with that.
Yeah. All right. I have a question for you guys about this match. What was your favorite location within this complex that they were moving around in? What was your favorite room that they fought in for a short period of time?
Definitely the little server hallway. For sure. Server hallway for me.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the dramatic lighting, the expensive equipment everywhere. Okay.
Yeah, for me it was definitely towards the end there on top of the truck. I mentioned this while we were watching it. It reminded me very heavily of a scene right towards the very end of Metal Gear Solid, where Solid Snake and Liquid Snake are kind of on top of this big destroyed robot, and they're fighting hand to hand, and it's really just like it's a brutal scene in the game too, and it's very like cinematic. It's very kind of high drama, and I loved every second of it.
I feel that.
Very good analogy for a gaming channel.
For me, my favorite was the boardroom with the inexplicably placed chain link fence hanging from the roof.
The ceiling fence was really a feat of engineering.
Yeah, it was great.
Oh, brilliant. I'm glad we really all did have those nice little moments to ourselves.
Yeah, there were a lot of nice moments. There were, we picked 3, but there were at least 3 or 4 other distinct locations that we haven't talked about.
Yeah, you know what I'd like to throw in there too, and that in that scene that I'm talking about with the truck, we talked about this during the watch as well. Right towards the end, as they were getting up there, that giant ladder that went up into the rafters of the room.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
and then we were pretty sure they must have had a camera guy on there. And there's a moment where, where Randy Orton's playing with the supports of the ladder.
Yeah, he leans his full body weight against it, and you're like, oh no, is he going to climb this ladder to Valhalla and slam himself on top of the truck? But he doesn't. He bypasses the ladder and finds some other toys to torture Edge with. But yeah, as we're watching, you realize there's a certain camera angle that's level with, but not on top of the truck. So somebody must have been way up off frame on that thing, and just looking at it gave me vertigo.
That was the biggest ladder I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah,
big old ladder.
But it was one of those flimsy ones that they used to knock each other around.
Yeah, I know.
With.
Whoever was on that ladder was not getting paid enough to be on that ladder.
Yeah.
Preach.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, Edge pulled it out in that last man standing match by paralyzing Randy Orton for the rest of his life.
Really living up to the rated R superstar mantra, that's for sure.
Oh, he did say fuck the count at one point. Rated R.
Yeah, that's the other kind of theme that was running through the match. Both Orton and Edge at different points tell the referee to basically just get out of the way and let the match keep going. And
Right.
The really this sense of like Edge was out to get revenge no matter what it cost him. They showed a couple scenes where he would do a move like when he speared Orton on top of the truck. He immediately started grabbing his neck afterwards, and I know that we all kind of understand how wrestling works and everything, but also at the same time, like the guy does have real spinal and neck injuries from back in the day. You gotta wonder a little bit, right? Like you have to wonder how close to reality are they touching with this storyline?
Right.
Hopefully not incredibly, but like
that's a terrifying distinction to try to make.
Yeah.
The lines between reality and fantasy are heavily blurred.
Oh yeah, and again, I'm here for every moment of it because I am thoroughly sports entertained at moments like that.
Yeah, absolutely. There was another short surprise after that fight, though.
Oh yes,
something I don't think any of us were expecting to happen.
Well, earlier in the broadcast, WrestleMania host this year, if you can call him that, Rob Gronkowski, made a decree that he would be stealing the 24/7 title from his friend Mojo Rawley, who had stolen it from R-Truth the night before. So, all of a sudden, after the Edge match and everything has subsided and they've run some ads, you just see a bunch of boys running out of the back. And
a lot of boys.
They're all chasing after Mojo Rawley. And they get him to the ground and they start beating on him. And then it just so happens that they are under the most infamous balcony in WWE history at this point in the weekend. It has been used for I can't even tell you how many things since the outbreak started, and they've been filming in front of no audience. This balcony will go down in infamy.
This balcony...
Gronkowski is up.
This balcony is essentially the WWE's grassy knoll. Let's be serious.
Yeah. Gronkowski is up on the balcony. He's looking down at the carnage below him, and he sees his opportunity to make his declaration at the beginning of the night become a reality. This man hops over the railing and jumps down onto all these boys, creating a sprawled mess of bodies. Gronkowski immediately goes for the pin, and he gets it. He successfully robs his friend Mojo Rawley of the 24/7 championship. And with that, we don't see him the rest of the night.
Because he goes jumping out the side door of the Performance Center.
He gives up his hostship to become 24/7 champion. And none other than Titus O'Neil takes over. And with that, I was able to explain to Mike and Ray where I had the original idea for our podcast name, Under the Ring
Skirt. I was wondering if we were going to talk about this.
And it's that moment back in the greatest Royal Rumble over in Saudi Arabia when Titus is running down to the ring. He trips right as he gets off the ramp and onto the styrofoam padded mat area, and his 6-foot-tall, muscular ass slides full on under that ring skirt.
Like a greased up boy. Like a greased up penguin.
Boy. He goes all the way in. All the way
They could
under.
not have filmed it better if it had been on purpose.
And it wasn't on purpose, and that was the beautiful part, because the commentators and the ref in the ring, and even Titus O'Neil himself, lost their minds laughing for a solid 3 minutes before things could slowly start to get back on track. There was a bunch of boys in the ring because it was the greatest Royal Rumble, so there was a lot of boys in that ring already who could keep the match rolling, but there was a professional referee, 2 commentators, and the superstar himself that it had happened to dying laughing for a solid 3 minutes before they could compose themselves. And when we decided to do this podcast, I thought back to that moment instantly and was like, under the ring skirt. It's a good
Right up under there.
Go ahead and look up the
Right
gif
up
of
under
that
there.
moment if you haven't seen it, because it really just keeps on giving.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does. It's better with every go around.
Yeah, truly.
And that's
truly.
exactly how we get under there, We just grease up our bellies, take a running start, and slide down.
Like the penguin slide in Super Mario 64.
Exactly like that. The music starts
It's actually
playing.
a lot more spacious under here than people might think.
Yeah.
That's very, very true.
I mean, there's a couple of ladders and loose chairs and shit, but it's fine.
That's okay. It's okay. I found a sledgehammer under here one time.
No way!
It's
No
okay.
way!
It's okay.
So what was that next match of the night we looked at?
After the robbery of the 24/7 championship for a second night in a row, we had the Street Profits versus Angel Garza and Austin Theory.
That's
With Zelina Vega accompanying them to ringside.
This was certainly a match that happened.
We predicted the Street Profits would win. There was a lot of good energy in this match. You guys were feeling it from the Street
There
Profits.
was some
at one point.
high-flying
I know
action.
You were. I heard some excitement in one or both of your voices at least at one point or another.
Yeah,
in this
it
match.
was definitely a solid, 15, 20 minutes of wrestling. There's no question there.
Yeah, and tonight did end up being longer than last night. I don't know.
Well, we all know
which
why that
matches
is.
exactly went
Well,
longer than others
The
last
Edge
night, but
one felt like it went for 40 minutes.
that was, I think that might have taken up the most time, but it's hard to tell when you're watching, honestly.
It was
You could go back and look at that. In
They went through a lot of locations
it could be
and
25
stayed there
minutes
for a
and you'll
while.
be like, oh. But yeah, we predicted Street Profits would win, and they indeed did. But the shocking thing was, after Street Profits had won, they had started to take their victory laps, jumping around the ring happy and stuff. But then they got attacked from behind from the losers of the match, the Double A's. And all of a sudden, one of the Street Profits' wife, Bianca Belair, her music hits, and she's running down to the ring with her.
why are you
whip-like
recounting
hair.
this moment like Christopher Walken?
Well, it was a shocking moment, I believe. It was.
I mean, it was okay.
It
I
was
think
something
the thing
didn't
to take
expect
away
to
from
have
it.
happen in the match. She beat the shit out of Zelina Vega. That was cool.
Yeah,
I think
And,
I think the takeaway from it was the sexual tension atmosphere that was created after she beat the shit out of the other girl. and her husband, fiance, I don't know.
Husband.
He like crawled up on the ring and like
Oh my god.
I don't know, man. There was some looks going on. There was some moves going. There was some hair twiddling,
Oh boy.
and it was
Oh boy.
it was hot and heavy to say the least. I think that's the
If
real
you thought
takeaway
there was
from all
big
that.
dick energy in Becky's match last night, wait till you watch.
I don't know if
Street
I'd
Profits
call it
match.
big dick energy.
Maybe just
It's
dick
just
energy.
a yoke.
Yeah. Yeah.
just plain old dick energy.
Like if wrestling had bedroom eyes, that would have been it.
Oh boy.
And then they just got a bunch of girls up in that ring.
Oh boy.
And they took their sweet time with that one too, didn't
Yep,
they?
and I would just like to say, as I predicted on part 2 of our podcast,
I think that was part 1. I think you said that the first night.
Yeah.
okay, part 1.
Many
Yeah, it
moons
does feel
ago.
that way.
So many moons ago.
It was prophesized.
We all took a big L on that one, which means I got a point.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Vince did exactly what I figured Vince would do with this match. And, you know, honestly, the night probably would have been no different had it not occurred.
I can agree with that.
I would concur as well, honestly.
There were a lot of points where they could have done something interesting with it. They kind of like teased at Sasha and Bailey possibly not working together and like possibly, you know, fighting over it. But
Yeah.
no, even that was just a huge letdown. Like
There was a lot of heat coming off Tamina going into this match. People were thinking she might win. I'm not saying anybody in our group necessarily, but like, you know, people online.
It was a nice
Sure.
touch to see every
The people.
other competitor in the match have to band together to take Tamina out of the match.
Yes, indeed. Showing off how you know, powerful Tamina is, and how, you know, how much you need to truly take her down. But after her being here, like, just as long as the Usos and never holding any kind of championship title at all whatsoever, it's a tiny bit sad, to be real.
yeah, I don't know much about wrestling. I don't watch very often but from what I've witnessed in the last couple of days, I'm just not very impressed by Bailey. Even from last year, I don't know. I just feel like she doesn't do anything on her own.
Yeah, even when she made the jump from good guy with arm waving two men to bad guy, she's still kind of just a boring character right now.
Yeah, I
She
feel
doesn't
nothing
have
towards
much
her.
going for her besides the fact that she's friends with Sasha Banks. And Sasha Banks just came back from being gone for a while. And not even just came back. She's been back for like close to 6 months now, probably. So
Yeah, and it,
you know,
it still seems like they're kind of building this Sasha Banks is eyeing the title angle, because even when she did help Bailey pull out the win at the end there, you saw that her gaze lingered for a while on the belt before she handed it back over to Bailey.
I'd agree.
Yeah, it was
I'd agree with that.
like a my precious moment, you know.
I was
You
convinced
hold on
in
to that ring
moment,
a little too long.
I was convinced in that moment that she might actually still betray Bailey right then and there.
I was
Like,
hoping for a little bit of
This shit
excitement,
mine.
something.
But no. She handed
that's
that
okay.
shit off and watched Bailey celebrate. So
all of the disappointment we felt from that was quickly wiped away by something that I consider quite possibly the best like piece of media I've ever consumed.
that was it. What I wish. I'll get this out of the way and say it because I have nothing else but praise for it after this. But I wish it was more like the Taker Styles match. I wish there was more match. I wish there was more wrestling.
Nah, I liked exactly how I disagree totally. I liked the lack of
Really?
any
Yeah, this was
contact
a
at
very
all.
spooky, dark web series, weird, dark media kind of thing that happened, and I was 100% for it. It was so cool.
Yeah, the Fiend
We
basically
are of
took
course
John
talking about the
Cena.
Fiend versus John Cena in the Firefly Funhouse match.
Right, right, where the Fiend took John Cena through a oh god, what's that Christmas story where you get pulled through your past, present, and future? Why am I drawing a blank on
Is that a
it?
Christmas Carol?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
Christmas
pulls
Carol.
him ghost-like through a Christmas Carol, making him
His
relive all of
biggest
like
failures.
his yeah. And like again, I just want to stress how much I don't watch wrestling, but even I was like, oh shit, like this means something to somebody, and it means something to me now. Looking at like they did a good job at like making me care, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It
Yeah.
was good.
It was really impressive. I mean, we saw some stuff in there that WWE hasn't touched in a long time. I mean, cutting in footage from WCW was, that's crazy.
Yeah,
And
yeah, it was
once
all over
again,
the
I do
place.
just want to give myself a little bit of a pat on the back here. I called this shot as well. I did predict.
I still feel like you should get a
I mean,
point for that.
I don't disagree. We watched John Cena get psychologically tortured for 15 to 20 minutes, and then blinked out of existence at the end.
Right, like in the exact like there's no other way to interpret how you predicted this match was gonna go, and it's exactly like to the T what it was.
It was really.
Yeah.
And it was a
Yeah.
funny joke the first night, but then to watch it happen, I felt like I had fallen asleep and was
Again,
dreaming.
this was very similar, kind of in result, if not overall feeling, to the Ortin and Edge match. It was very unsettling, and I don't know who they have working in the kind of storyboarding department right now that has this darker streak and is able to get it into the storylines. But I
Yeah.
am really loving the work.
Maybe it's CM Punk. Maybe he's back there writing.
I never even took that into consideration. That would be such a CM Punk watch swerve. Just
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, Ray really just had the Ray was the one with the CM Punk watch.
we just
tonight.
cut to a writer's
Yeah.
room, 3 years from now, and you see a man scribbling away with taped hands behind a desk.
That's exactly what I pictured too. Like he's just in his wrestling regalia.
It was me, Vince. It was me all along.
Oh, poor
Oh
Cena.
boy. But yeah, Cena did
Who
literally
knows if
blink
we'll
out
ever
of
see
existence.
that boy again?
Yeah,
honestly.
it'll be interesting to
I'm
see how they
surprised-
bring him back from the shadow dimension to which he's been banished.
Right.
I'm telling
Yeah, it
you,
feels like
all
they've
the
killed off a lot
answers-
of their stars.
All the answers we want are gonna be on Raw.
I know that can't be true because they can't. It can't be all the answers. 'Cause then there's no reason to ever watch wrestling again.
I mean, most of the unanswered questions we have from tonight will be answered on Raw before they move on to new storylines. Because after Mania's over, it's like time to wipe the slates clean. Because soon after Mania is like the superstar shakeup where they trade superstars between the shows and shit. Like the entire thing is gonna switch up soon and be like new storylines and shit. So whatever's gonna be answered, it's gonna be answered on Raw and SmackDown this coming week.
Sounds like a wild ride.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Mike took the point for that one, calling both exactly how the match was going to be played out and who was going to win, which was ultimately the Fiend.
I mean, if you give Mike a second point for that one, he ties with you, and then we'd come down to some kind of tiebreaker. So, I'll leave
now
that
you
up
just
to y'all,
spoiled
I
it.
guess. But
Yeah, but that would probably be more interesting.
spoiled what? We already said Cena got
I'm down with
dragged
that.
Cena got dragged into a pocket dimension. There was no, we had spoiled it
No,
already.
no,
Like,
he didn't think that John Cena was going to get dragged into a pocket dimension. No, nobody said that.
no, I'm saying, like, you said I just spoiled the match, but, like, we had already spoiled it
next
earlier
one.
in our discussion.
And the fact, okay, let's just keep
I
going.
spoiled the next one?
So, after that very weird experience wrapped up, we moved into the final match of the night. This was the big one, folks. This was Brock Lesnar, the undisputed Universal Heavyweight Champion of the WWE, versus Drew McIntyre. And I had my money pretty firmly on Brock Lesnar because, as we know, Suplex City is a WrestleMania favorite, and
We saw some Suplex
we did.
City.
Suplex City did make an appearance, but then something happened.
Yeah, that
Claymore
that old
Country.
switcheroo.
Claymore Country was a little bit stronger in force tonight, I'd say.
You know, the thing that bothers me,
What did he take? Like 3 or 4 in
the
a
thing
row?
that bothers me about these matches with Brock Lesnar, really the last like 4 or 5 years or so since he, let's say, unceremoniously ended the Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania. In that moment, Lesnar was supposed to be kind of like this mythical figure that dethroned the undethronable. And that match, he took a beating and then just absolutely, tried to bury The Undertaker. After that, they stuck with the Brock is this untouchable, unbeatable beast angle for a while, but to have him drop this title to somebody like Drew McIntyre, I don't get it. I mean, I know Vince likes big dudes, but like, it just for it.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
Vince saw something in Drew back in the day that I don't think any of us will truly understand, because even back in the day, he was less than lackluster. He was essentially awful. Running around with 3-man band and shit back in the day, it wasn't a good look for anybody. Like, I'm shocked. What's his name from 3-Man Band is still around? Heath Slater. Like, I'm pretty sure he's still technically active roster, even though he's very seldom used. Or, like, I think he might be on 205 Live now or something like that. I mean, it's just crazy to me how Heath Slater got to stick around this entire time when Drew was let go of and had to claw his way back in 9 years later just to get the championship match he was promised back in his fucking prime. Back when Vince McMahon really had his back. Like, I don't know, man. This feels like it's all too late coming to him. It's weird. It's really weird.
It also felt like a very
like watching Edge and Orton, watching Drew win this title. Like, are we in 2009? What is happening?
Yeah, I mean the other thing too was it was kind of a very lackluster finish to what had otherwise been a pretty solid quality night of wrestling. It was a pretty quick match. Brock got in.
I called it from the get-go.
Brock got in.
I said it as soon as it
Brock got in a couple suplexes and a few F5s, and then that was it. That was the ball game. It really, I don't know. It was a very odd choice of way to end the night, in my opinion.
I genuinely wish once they figured out like Mania wasn't going to be held as normal. They should have done what they did with that Boneyard match and made the Cena Bray Wyatt match the last thing all of us saw. Because ending the night on that would have had such a bigger impact than ending the night with the Lesnar Drew McIntyre almost throwaway 6-minute match that we saw.
I agree.
I knew they were Mike said something earlier before we started recording, and he said that I'm too close to wrestling because I watch constantly to make accurate predictions, because I basically came out on the bottom this year for predictions, and I think he's right in a way. But with this one, I could tell that they definitely were pushing McIntyre to win. It was too coincidental in the way he came back, in the way he won the Royal Rumble, and from there, it's just kind of obvious, because WWE has a saying: if you win the Royal Rumble, you're almost guaranteed to win the title you go after. There have been like maybe 3 people who have ever won the Royal Rumble and then failed to get the title they went after with it. Same goes for like Money in the Bank. There's only like 2 or 1 person that's ever
John Cena
cashed in and like fucking fell flat
and
on
it was
his
John
face.
Cena.
Or their face. Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I gotta say about that. It felt strange. And we should have ended the night on Cena Fiend.
A more interesting note, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was another point for both you and I. And
right. And at that point, there were no more points to be doled out. So Ray is the big WrestleMania winner this year. And that means next year he gets to decide whether or not we are punished or if we owe him prizes. Glorious, glorious prizes.
I feel like I want to use my newfound royalty and pardon our Sir Mike Kane, because he really did pull one out. I really am impressed with how accurate he was about that Cena match. I think I'm only gonna either inflict or take something from Nick, and I'll sit on that for a year and I'll figure it out, and I will exact my revenge in Hollywood.
Well, I humbly accept your royal pardon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe if you have any good ideas of like fun shit we can make him do.
Yeah, we've got a year to plan this out, so plenty of time.
Yeah, like put his butt on one of the Hollywood stars or something. I don't know. But yeah, there was some other stuff. We all kind of got sucked into that first look of Undertaker's The Last Bride.
Yes, that was it was kind of disturbing. Almost was a good word for it, but it was so interesting too. This man is literally killing himself for this business. From what I think
that's true for most of the older wrestlers.
Yeah. Well, no, because not everyone is stuck around that long to keep doing it year after year. You don't see Stone Cold Steve Austin still getting in the fucking ring. He could do it a lot better than Taker, too, if he wanted to. He's younger, one, and he's in a lot better shape.
Yeah, I mean, we only saw about the first 10 or 15 minutes of the doc there. But it was really, it gripped me right from the jump, and I definitely can't wait to go back and take a look at the rest of that.
I don't even think they announced when it's fully happening yet, did they? I'm not even
Yeah,
sure.
I think it's going up on the network tomorrow. The first look was tonight, and then it's they're dropping it.
Oh,
Nice.
okay, all right. Also for next year, in accordance to us winning with predictions and the such, we're gonna be implementing a tighter ship around that, paying closer attention to our original predictions and making sure we remember them. Maybe throwing in some special categories where we can gain extra points for
Maybe a
predicting more
wagering
specific
system
shit.
for points.
A wagering
Bets
system
can be made.
possibly. Also, I am going to personally look into crafting us a title belt. So next year, whoever walks away as the winner will walk away for the year with
You mean when I
Um,
ultimately retain
the under the ring skirt title belt.
with my vast
Now
knowledge of
I
wrestling?
feel bad that Ray won't be able to hold on to this
Don't
in talks about belt
don't worry about it.
for
You
the
don't need to
next
feel bad.
year. So I'm gonna send a consolation prize his way for now.
Okay.
And since Ray has given Mike Kane the royal pardon, I shall also grace him with a consolation prize.
Cool.
Nice.
Because that would have technically tied them in points. And if Ray
Honestly,
doesn't
you
want to
know
have
what
a
I-
tiebreaker, if she wants to just give the pardon instead and he accepts said pardon, then
You
consolation
know what I think it
prizes
was?
for
I
everybody.
think Mike on the first night you made the joke that I was the podcast resident expert on wrestling, and you breathed my expertness into reality.
Yeah, I think that is pretty much what happened. I mean, magical thinking is real, and
Yeah.
now here we are.
Yeah, because pretty much everything you said that first night came exactly true to fruition. So just keep an eye on like the hypotheticals you throw out there for the next couple days. Just
Or the
don't
next
go,
few months in this climate. Wait, they.
Yeah, I mean, hypothetically, if
Yeah.
$10 million showed up in my bank account tomorrow, I wouldn't really be upset about it.
See, that's the kind of thinking we need. That's the kind of thinking we need right now.
Really get this channel right off the ground.
Yeah. Alrighty.
We'd have to change it to Manzari Bros and One Kane Gaming.
Would we?
I don't know. Wouldn't we?
I don't know. I don't think if Mike Kane suddenly got $10,000,
$10
his
million.
first thing would be to
10,000?
buy
I
out
think you
our.
said 10 million.
Oh, 10 million? Yeah, I don't think he's doing anything with us anymore, Nick. I don't think we gotta worry about him being involved in the YouTube channel.
Yeah, maybe just sending you guys a cease and desist letter to pull down these episodes of the podcast that my voice is illegally being used
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
Jesus.
That sounds about right.
And with that, we're kind of at an end here, boys.
Yeah, I think that
We've
Yeah.
had our WrestleMania
brings
fun.
us to
and,
the end of our first annual Under the Ring skirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we could be back for a post WrestleMania week special next weekend, discussing Raw and SmackDown. We'll see. Maybe not. Maybe we'll do more pay-per-views in the future. Stick to the bigger ones. Maybe not. If not, we'll definitely see you next year for WrestleMania.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I had a good time. I mean, it did pretty much eat up my entire weekend, but let's be honest, what else are What else are
What
we
else
doing?
are any of
You
us
know?
doing right now?
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it was a good time. Thanks for doing this with us. Thanks for
Thanks
coming
for
out.
listening. Thanks to the wrestlers. Thanks to the crew members who made the watching of all of this possible. We hope you're all staying safe and healthy.
And we don't
sure.
want to part the kimono too much, but just as a little bit of a heads up, definitely keep an eye on the YouTube channel here. We're gonna have some more stuff coming in the pretty near future. It's going to be a little bit longer form. We're talking about doing maybe an actual play podcast with some tabletop role playing games. We've got a couple ideas kicking around for that, and yeah, I think we'll have a pretty good time.
Absolutely. So, turn on your notifications,
Like,
subscribe and
comment, and
shit.
subscribe.
Keep your eyes open. Ha 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 ha.
Make sure to ring that notification
Oh
bell.
boy. Smash it!
Check out our merch link in the description below. No, I'm kidding. I don't think we have
There's
that
no
yet.
merch link.
Yeah.
There's no merch link. We don't have anything. If you want to make merch, don't. I'll sue you. Don't do it.
Oh man.
But yeah.
I guess with that, that's been Nick, Ray, and Mike, that guy Kane.
I can't
with
believe
under
I
the ring
cannot
skirt.
believe we're at the end of the podcast and you had to say Mike, that guy Kane.
Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of unsavory nicknames we could pull out of the closet
For really
for
any
Nick.
of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's going to do it for us here on From Under the Ring Skirt, folks. Thank you for joining us for our first annual edition of the podcast. Yeah, we look forward to spending some more time with you in the future on some other projects that we have coming down the pipe. And remember, stay safe and healthy out there.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Awesome. All right. I'm calling it.
Ring that bell, ref.